Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The podcast is available bi-weekly where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also get it from our website at scalemodelpodcast.com, where you can find show notes, photo gallery, and so much more. You can also subscribe to get notifications on all our updates, new episodes, and video content. Please support the Scale Model Podcast on Patreon. Patreon supporters enjoy early access to content and exclusive contests. Your Patreon support helps us to offset hosting and other costs to bring the podcast to you. Welcome to episode 120 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Cult TV Man, Sean's Custom Model Tools, and Return to Kit Form. I'm your host, Stuart Clark, and I am here with only one right now. We have two MIA. First of all, from the North Shore of Lake Erie, coming soon, a new wedding venue spot, possibly. Your friend and mine, Mr. Jeff Highland. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks, Stuart. Yes, wedding venue. Well, when you have daughters and they have friends and you have a big property, they kind of want to use it for weddings.
Yeah, you're a good guy, you and your wife. So good for you. Good for you. So yeah, no, you've been very busy. You weren't at our club meeting, but you had the perfect excuse, namely your wedding anniversary.
That's right. 44 years.
44 years, and she hasn't killed you yet. So you must be doing something right. But you did have time, just like me, to do some kit purchases, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So Anthony wasn't sure if he's going to join us tonight, but we were supposed to, Terry wasn't sure, but we were supposed to have Mr. Goodman, and I've sent him a text and he's not here. So we can all virtually wag our finger at him.
We're gonna have Anthony in one form or another because we have all these Wonderfest.
That's right. Yeah, we had a pile of interviews. It's our second roundup with Anthony here, but because he's not here, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. We're just going to have to go right to the interviews in a few minutes. First of all, I also want to thank all our latest Patreon, and we now do buy me a coffee. So for those people who can't basically, they don't have the ability to do a regular Patreon contribution, but still feel like supporting the podcast, we now have signed up for the service called Buy Me a Coffee. And this is great. Basically, it's like it says, you basically go on the site and you can do a one-time donation to the podcast. So you can buy like 1, 3, 5, $10 worth of coffee, whatever. And everything goes, just like Patreon goes to helping pay the hosting fees, improving things, et cetera, et cetera. And no, it doesn't pay for any airfare to nationals or any purchasing of kits. No, exactly. That's reserved for the IPMS Canada executive. I'm just kidding. Kidding. Carrie, if you're listening to this, I'm just kidding. Anyway. People used to say that's an old joke because people used to, and I think IPMS USA had this too. They used to get people griping that, oh, you guys are getting paid and they're paying for your trips everywhere. And no, IPMS chapters, it's all volunteer basis. Both Jeff and I can tell you the same thing as we're both involved in organizing our local chapter. We don't get paid a single red cent. We do it out of the goodness of our heart. That's what we keep telling ourselves, right, Jeff?
Yeah, well, to some degree, it costs us money too. So I mean,
well, exactly. But there we go. So as always, feel free to give us some comments, or as I say, you can buy us a coffee, and you can leave us a comment at scalemodelpodcast@gmail.com. So first of all, the latest, just today, because we're recording this on the Monday, the 26th of June, Wonderfest, they do have the full list up of the 2023 winners list. And I'm really pleased to see a lot of local modelers from our club was represented there, including Mr. Goodman, who apparently set a record with the most number of prizes in a single Wonderfest. He said something here. He got 4 gold, 3 silver, 2 bronze, and 2 best of categories. He got he's pretty sure he got the record for most medals. So that's amazing. That's for several kits. So yeah, we've got several familiar faces there. Bill Webb is there, and a few other characters we know. But anyway, the Anthony won best anime for his VF4 Lightning 3.
Amazing. It's an amazing kit too. if you get a chance to take a look at the pictures of that build, that's beautiful.
Yep.
Gorgeous.
So absolutely. Yeah. So the full list is there. We have put it up in the show notes. They had a total of 1,049 entries this year. You know, I know for what we consider a small show, just absolutely amazing.
Well, it also kind of gives you a clue just how popular this topic is, like Wonderfest type kits. I'm looking down the list here. I see Aaron Skinner won a bronze for his.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. We got a few. We got it. Like I said, the IPMS London Club is very well represented. And like I say, look at all these categories. And I'm sure we're going to see a couple of those at the Southwestern Ontario Scale Model Show in September. And you'll be hearing us talking about that more as the date gets closer as well. So, yeah, so that's post Wonderfest. So now we've got, since you know what's going to happen. He's going to join us after we're done this segment. Anthony was nice enough to take a recorder down to Wonderfest, and he got a pile of interviews. He interviewed 6 people. So what I've done is I've tagged them all together. I've stitched them all together so you can hear them all in sequence. They're like 3 to 10 minutes each. So we have a brief intro from them, and then we have Tom Grossman. Most of these people have been on the show too. You'll recognize some of these, suspicious characters. Tom Grossman from Tag Team, Paul Badinsky from Paragraphics, Aaron Skinner from Fine Scale Modeler, Jason Eaton, Wally from Fun House, and George Salidas from the show itself. Yeah. And we should give Tom Grossman congratulations because he got married just before the show. And he brought his lovely bride, and they wore these T-shirts. I loved it. It said "just married," and she wore the shirt that said, "No, this is not our honeymoon."
Fair comment. Fair
comment. I think that was wonderful, but they had a really good time as well. I know there's a video thing on our Facebook page where Terry got the gang from Tag Team promoting their stuff and all that. So anyway, here it is right now.
Good morning, SMP listeners. I'm here with Terry. We're in Louisville, Kentucky. We're at Wonderfest. Wonderfest 2023?
That's right.
And here's Terry.
Hey. Everybody, we're having fun. We're recovered from last night mostly.
Yep. We've had a great weekend so far. There's been a ton of really cool stuff that we want to shed a little light on and tell you all about. There's been an awesome contest room. It's amazing.
A record number of entries, well over 1,000 entries.
That's incredible,
pushing
Terry.
1,100. Yeah, and a lot to judge. It was chaos.
Everything about this weekend has been chaotic, but in the best of ways.
Yep.
It's been just a slew of amazing demos and seminars and presentations.
Yeah.
I've caught a few. Terry's been helping out with a few and taking them in as well. Any highlights from the best seminar you've seen so far?
It's all new stuff, essentially. Yeah. And Steve Burns doing a pair of 3D modeling stuff, how to very quickly do stuff in Blender.
Crazy.
I'm looking at it like I already know some of this stuff.
Yes.
And then, of course, Paul Havarth doing a safety demo.
That was really interesting. I think it's overlooked in the way modelers talk about the hobby.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. He's talking about the chemistry, the effects of using these different things in our hobby. That was a great seminar.
Yeah, it is. And giving alternatives. It's like, why use this one, why use a chlorinated hydrocarbon when you can use something a lot safer, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Like everything, the technology is improving and getting better and safer. So yeah, I mean, it's just awesome to see how the hobby is continuing to grow and develop.
Yeah, get out into the dealer room. There's a ton of stuff. I'm going to try to line up some more interviews.
Yep.
From the dealer room area, because some of these guys you got to see to believe.
Yep. So stay tuned. We have a bunch of people we're gonna talk to, and we're gonna have some snippets and see what's going on out there. So, all right, stay tuned, listeners. Anthony out.
Terry out.
It's Anthony here. I got Tom Grossman of Tag Team Hobbies getting interviewed properly because apparently Terry already swooped in, scooped me. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Good morning, Anthony. I am absolutely fantastic.
You're still standing?
Yep.
Because this is Sunday morning, folks.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. How's everything going at the booth?
Really well.
Excellent.
We got that new paint line, and
what's it called?
New Worlds Paints.
Why do I love it?
Because It's formulated for plastic models. It needs no primer.
Sounds awesome.
I tested it, so I'm speaking from personal experience.
Yes, you are a builder.
So I put it down on unwashed bare plastic.
Yeah.
In 30 minutes, well, I live in Colorado. It might take a little longer where you are. After 30 minutes, it would not rub off.
Sounds great.
I tried it wet sanding, and it feathered off exactly like it's supposed to.
Awesome.
And when I pulled the Tamiya tape off it, all I got was the tape.
Perfect. That's another key ingredient.
And another big plus is instead of having a rack full of paints and a rack full of washes, all you need is some New Worlds and their wash medium. Because you can use that to turn any of the colors in the palette into a wash.
That's awesome.
At an opacity that you choose. I went down to 60 to 1, and it was great. Maybe a little dark. You could probably do 100 to 1.
Huh.
And then I tested it with a little reducer on a cotton swab, and you're able to lift it off. But don't scrub too hard because it went through the base coat.
It sounds like an awesome paint range, and there's been
great.
so many advances in paint recently.
Yes,
so,
there have.
And that it just keeps moving forward.
Yeah,
That sounds
and
awesome.
The nice thing about this one is Iwata had a line of paints called Comart, which flowed really well, and they're very dense, and they're transparent and opaques, but it's illustration paint.
That's a little different.
In order to use it, well, you couldn't shoot it on bare plastic, but for weathering and highlighting and things like that, it was great, but you had to seal it.
Okay.
Yeah, with New Worlds, none of that.
Okay. Anything we can use to save time in the process
Save
is worth
time.
looking at.
Save
That's
time.
great. How are people reacting to it? Because I know you've used it in your demos here at Wonderfest.
Yes.
You used it in your course.
Yes. Yeah, they loved it. They thought it was great. We provided it for Iron Modeler last night.
Yeah, awesome.
They thought it was great. I think it's great. And you'd expect me to say that because I work for the company.
Yeah.
But I
course I
only
would.
sell products that I believe in. And
Yeah.
It does
You're a
everything
modeler
it says it does.
at your core. Yeah, that's great.
Yep, since I was 5.
Yep, right
that
on.
was 63 years ago next month.
Yeah. Okay, so where, if people want to try it out, point them in the right direction, because it sounds like a cool new thing.
Be here today.
Be here today. Okay, if you can't be here today,
And you want to try it out?
yeah,
Oh,
where can they get it at your shop online?
yes. Well, they will be able to once I get caught up because I don't have it up on my retail site, which is
Coming soon.
I apologize in advance. It's
Coming
a
soon.
neglected dinosaur. But drop me an email and I can hook you up.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. So, how was the Airbrush 101 course?
They filled.
Yeah, they filled up. Excellent.
Yeah.
People are loving it.
People are loving it. 'cause
Now,
we'll-
I saw that. Sorry, I saw that the entries in the class actually all got a kit to, and they were all completed.
Right. Well,
Tell us
that's
about
how
that.
we do things. We don't have time to build up a whole model and paint it. Because,
Okay.
airbrushes, we're all about painting it. So I arranged to get the kits, and this year we had the new AMT Havoc Marauder from Clone Force 9.
Okay.
And so to facilitate the painting, we prep the kits, we assemble them to a point and prep the kits for the students so they can walk in and get right down to business.
That's amazing. That's a very popular course. It's been going I think for years and years, as far back as I can remember. For Wonderfest, you've had the Airbrush
Let's
101.
see, we did 4 dinosaurs, and this is episode 4 of Spaceships, so we've
There you go.
done 8.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Wow.
And this is one of the cool things about coming to Wonderfest is you can really pick up get involved in some seminars and get some hands-on tips and work with people like Tom who are experienced and in the know. Well, I'm not going to keep you. I can see you're jonesing to get going on the rest of the day. So thank you for taking some time out to talk to me,
Sure, Anthony. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it's great to see you
we're
again,
shaking
too.
hands warmly at
We
this
are.
point.
Just envision that.
Yeah, Canadian, eh?
Thanks again, Tom.
Thanks again, Anthony.
See you later.
We'll see you.
Okay, here we are, SMP. It's Anthony. I'm back with another special guest, friend to the show, Paul Bodenseek of Paragraphics, catching up and seeing what's going on with him. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Awesome. Are you having a great Wonderfest?
It's Wonderfest.
That says it
that
all.
pretty much answers the question right there.
Yes, excellent. So we want to thank you for coming back on. I know you've been on with Stuart before, and I haven't had a chance to talk with you, so this is new for me. But what's going on with Paragraphics? What's
Well,
new and exciting?
Let's see. got to see the actual etch and stuff for the Kronos one, which I
Awesome.
designed up for Polar Lights.
Excellent.
And they've got the big 30-second TIE fighter coming out, and we
Wonderful.
also did a set for them for that. That goes into production next week when I get
Exciting.
back. So that's cool. Oh, and the Kronos goes into final production.
Right on.
We both okayed the test shots here at the show.
Excellent.
So those will be ready hopefully in August, and then probably September, hopefully earlier for the TIE Fighter etch.
Oh, that's exciting.
So, yeah.
I always love all the extra sets that you can take a base kit and add that interest, add that excitement, personalize it. So I love the work you're doing. It's very cool.
Thanks.
These are where we get into some really high level stuff in an easy way. So
Yeah. That's the one that kills me is when, I first started in the hobby, I got my first set of photo etch with the Halcyon power loader from Aliens. And it was just this little thing.
Yeah.
And everything you read in fine scale modeler, because there was no online in those days, but it's like, photo etch scary. Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm being all working on it. This wasn't hard.
Good. But it adds a lot. It adds a lot of, very fine scale, thickness, detail.
Yeah,
to a lot
which
of
you just can't get in plastic. You can't tool fine enough.
Yeah.
And so that's half the point of when I do the demos here at Wonderfest. I didn't do it this year. I did one last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just sit there juggling pieces of photo etch and intentionally wing one at the wall. And, I'll flatten it, damage it. But you can fix that.
Yeah, you can re-flatten them and
Yeah, it's great. It shouldn't be intimidating.
Yeah.
So I think people are finally realizing that.
Well, it's like a lot of things. You just got to get past the barrier and try it, and then it starts to click in, right?
Yeah.
Now, earlier we were catching up, and you were giving me some awesome pointers I didn't know about for applying photo etch. Do you recall telling me about cleaning them up? And
yeah, and citric acid used a lot in food additives and stuff. It adds a little extra tang and bite to food. It's also a really weak acid, and it's safe to work with, which is great.
Yeah.
You just make a very dilute solution of it in warm water and maybe a little bit of dish detergent. Soak your etch in it for 5, depending on how deep the tarnish is on it. And put it in, take it out, rinse it off, dry it off. That's the most important part, is drying it off quick.
Yep.
And it looks brandy new.
Nice.
It gets rid of all your finger oils and all that crud.
Yeah, it's easy to get dirty quick on a bench, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And then you just go about the regular process, super glue, tweezers, and, that fine placement.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and a slow-setting super glue is always a nice thing to use.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Now, where can the average modeler get a little pot or jar of or bottle of the citric acid?
You can buy it like in Asian supermarkets.
Okay.
They have a lot there. I'm going to, hopefully within the next 2 months or so, start marketing it.
Oh, nice.
In, little couple ounce containers of the acid already mixed with detergent powder.
Kind of ready to go for model applications.
Here you go. Take a teaspoon of this,
a
liter of warm water, boom, you're done.
I like it. That's awesome. Yeah, anything convenient so I can get some more models built is worth looking at, in my opinion. So this humble guy, right on. That sounds great. Yeah, photo etch is awesome. Now, you do more than just photo etch kits, though, right? You also do...
Yeah, I've branched out into some 3D work.
Oh, nice.
Interiors especially, because that's where my passion lies. I love control panels and, cockpits and that kind of thing.
Right on.
So, like the Ares for the big moon bus, or not moon bus. The Ares, the cockpit for the Ares 1B.
Yep.
Made a complete replacement for that.
Nice.
and it's about 98% accurate.
Good enough for this guy.
Yeah.
Right on. Any other kits that are popular sellers with your vendors?
Pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff that doesn't sell.
Yeah.
One thing that's weird, I always get you should make meshes and all this generic stuff, and it doesn't sell.
And it's been covered, right? It's out. Like I have meshes from Tamiya, like just general sheets.
Yeah.
So there's no
And they're
need to
doing
tread.
the old K&S Metals used to have that whole line. You'd go to a hobby shop and there'd be a 4-foot long
the display rack of all that.
Flip the pages and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And they got out of the business of doing that, I think, because it just doesn't sell great.
Interesting. It's still available, but you know your market, you know what you want to work on, so you got to go with those projects, right?
Exactly.
They're great. So, hey, you like interiors? Did you look inside my Aliens APC?
I did not.
Well, you're going to have to now. It's on record.
Okay. Now, where is it on the table?
Vehicles.
In vehicles. Okay.
I put a little driver compartment with a pilot.
Yep.
I'm just tooting my own horn here, SMP listeners. It's a gold.
Woohoo!
But okay, so where can people find the fine products of Paragraphics? 'Cause I know you have a lot of vendors out there.
Yeah. If Steve Iverson at Cult TV Man is great for that kind of stuff, you can also order directly from paragraphics.biz.
Okay.
And we have most everything in stock. We're finally getting restocked. Our lead times, because of COVID restrictions and all that junk, went from 3-week turnaround time. That's their quoted, and I'd often get stuff within a week.
Nice.
And now it's up to about 3 months.
Yeah. Well, we can all be patient. We're model builders.
But
And if we're not patient, we should be building our patience.
Exactly.
Right on. Well, that's great. So again, thanks, Paul, for catching up.
You're welcome.
I really
Great
enjoyed
talking
that.
with you.
Yeah, awesome products. I've definitely had a look at them this weekend. And check them out and enjoy the rest of Wonderfest. Thanks, Paul.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, SMPers. It's Anthony here again. I've been roving around Wonderfest, talking to all kinds of interesting people. And I have with me a special guest, friend to the show, editor of Fine Scale magazine. It's Aaron Skinner. Thanks for sitting down with me for a few minutes. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's been a great show. Lots of fun.
Yeah, how's your Wonderfest experience been?
As always, I love covering this show because it's like the most fun you can have for a weekend at a model show. I think it's really, the people are all here for a good time. The models are fun. There's lots of creativity on display. The vendor room's super dangerous for those of us who are into that kind of thing. So, it's just a good time.
Excellent. That's great. And you were telling me earlier about all the entries you've been photographing for the website.
Yep. The primary place they'll be up is the website, finescale.com. I mean, they set a record for entries, so there are lots to choose from. We've photographed 60 odd now. They've got another hour or so before we're finished, so we may have more by the time we're done.
So that's awesome. Yeah, that contest room is outstanding. It's hard to take it all in.
It really is. It's you wander around and you think you've seen everything, and then you wander around again. And you're like going, how did I miss that the first time? How did I miss that the first time? And it's just, it's a little bit, particularly the figure side, because that's not my strong point, is a little bit
like overwhelming, or
I'm trying to think of the right word. It gives you a little sense of humility because it's like I can't.
Yeah.
These guys are so good at what they do. There's so many great talented painters out there, and I'm just not quite at that level yet. So
I know exactly what you mean. You're sort of trying to figure out how are they doing this, right? It's easy to look at sort of a vehicle and maybe I'm not at that level, but I can see kind of where what the process is of the modeler. So that's great.
We talked to a guy earlier. We shot one of his models. It was like a gaming miniature, and asked him how long he'd been doing it. He said, a year.
That's great.
And he won a gold.
Excellent. That's good on him.
Yep. So you got to, that's the level of talent that we're looking at here. So.
And I think it's just never been a better time to be into the hobby of modeling, right? Because you have magazines like Fine Scale, you have resources on YouTube, you can come to Wonderfest and see all these seminars and just get kind of a real in-depth view on how these things are done.
And on top of that, I mean, when you're breaking new records for entries at a show like this, it's impossible to say the hobby's like on its way out. It just keeps going from strength to strength. I mean, there's so many good kits out there, that sort of thing. I mean, Round 2's announcing a TIE bomber finally, and
has there never been a TIE bomber kit?
Nope.
Oh my goodness.
Not a actual injection molded plastic. I think there's been a couple of like resin
for sure, but
things like that. But no, not a plastic TIE bomber.
That's awesome.
There's some other things they have coming out. I'm excited to see what keeps coming and coming and coming. So.
Yeah, it's great. I know what you mean. It's just I'm here and I'm looking at getting into 3D printing. I'm looking to up my vac forming game, which I just sort of started playing with in the last couple of years, and also figure painting demos, right? So it's a great time to reach out and sort of get outside your comfort zone, get into new areas to enhance your modeling.
Absolutely. This is a great place to see that and figure out how to expand on things. So.
Now, do they let you out of the pen to get to any seminars, or are you working?
We're pretty much working the entire time. I mean, we hit the vendor room before they opened the contest room yesterday, and that was about the only time I've been, other than, hitting the restroom. That's about the only time I've been out of the contest room. So,
so listeners, I got Aaron outside in the courtyard. You can hear the birds. I figure he hasn't seen daylight in all weekend. I was going to do him a little favor. So
appreciate that.
That's awesome. So what's going on with the magazine? Any interesting things happening?
Well, the big news, I think, and a lot of people may be familiar with this, November is Build a Model Month. Fine Scale Modelers Build a Model Month. We encourage people to participate by building something, not necessarily in the month of November, but for the contest that we run in November.
Yeah.
And then the real big part of it is getting out and showing people how much fun modeling is.
Yeah.
Build a model with somebody who's never built a model. Could be a kid, could be your neighbor, could be your grandfather. Just get out there and show them why you spend so much time doing it. Give them a taste of how much fun it can be, and this is a great show to do that at. Really.
Oh yeah, it's a fun. I'm waiting a little bit, but when my son's a bit older, I think he'd get a real kick out of this. So I'll come back and bring him.
Yeah, this is one of the few shows I think my wife in particular would love to be at. So it's just there's a lot of stuff she'd recognize. There's a lot of stuff. It's one of those places where you're seeing subject matter that just about anyone can relate to.
So we're listeners. We're talking about a lot of movie IPs, a lot of like comic books, horror characters, Star Trek, Star Wars. There's always huge topics here, and we're starting to see a lot of like the gaming minifigures come in, and I think those people are not necessarily tuned into scale modeling, and scale modeling is not tuned into the gaming community either, right? It's very similar.
I've heard people say that their son's a figure painter, but he doesn't consider himself a modeler, and I'm like, it's modeling.
They're models.
I mean, it's a scale replica of something, and you're finishing it, regardless of how many parts it may have or whatever else. It's all modeling. It's all part of this overarching concept of what modeling is. And I think we need to break down some of the barriers that separate us as modelers, and
always,
stop chunking us into these genres and saying, if you're not doing this, you're not a modeler or whatever. It's all modeling.
Yeah, there is still some gatekeeping that goes on, and but that doesn't help anybody or any particular genre. Or,
and it just separates us in a way we don't need to be separated. We should be all celebrating modeling because it's what brings us together, and it's fun. It's just fun.
Yeah, I'm getting so juiced up to hit my bench.
I am too. This weekend will always do that for me. And I'm just about finished with a TIE Advance from Bandai, the Vader TIE Fighter, so I'm looking forward to getting back and finishing that up.
Right on. What scale?
72nd.
Yeah, the Bondi or the fine molds?
Bandai.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, those will be nice kits. Yeah, wonderful.
They're amazing. Bandai does amazing work, and they're nice little Star Wars kits and Star Trek. Star Wars kits, and I will always build a Star Wars kit. It's a good way to get, if you're doing something more complicated, throw one of those together and have some fun. So.
Yeah, a little like a little break,
like
kind of
palate cleanser.
Yeah, palate cleanser. Yeah, that's a perfect terminology for that. I've got my first piece of real world armor in the 95%.
Okay.
And it's just basically just the figures. And I was getting a little caught up on them, so I made sure I went to some of the figure modeling seminars. It's the flesh tones, right? Getting some ideas so I can kind of get past that. But I want to have those figures on the base, and then I'll have my first non-science fiction kit build complete. So yeah.
Well, you went more real world with your APC, the Alien APC,
yes.
APC a few years ago. So,
yeah, I got a gold. I mention that in every interview. I got a gold from my Aliens APC finally recognized. I'm very happy.
Having built that kit, that's not an easy kit to get together.
It was a terrible kit. I wondered why I was doing it a lot.
It's the only way you're going to get one of those vehicles, and to this day, it has never been reissued as far as I know.
There have been sort of garage kit style releases in various scales, and I think there's more to come, but you're in the resin. It's going to be limited. It's going to be not a mass produced kit. So I don't know why, you never know why they pick the subjects they pick, the manufacturers, but we always wait to see what they're doing next.
Yeah. I wish somebody would pick up that Alien license. It would be great.
Oh man, I'm sure that it will happen. It's just a matter of time, right? But that's wonderful. Well, okay, so let's remind listeners about Build a Model a Month, or Build a Model Month, which is November.
Yep.
Give us more info so they can get on board.
Pay attention to the website, finescale.com. We'll have some announcements coming up. We will be running our annual contest for Build a Model Month. Entries will probably be November 1 to November 30th, but don't quote me because it's not set in stone yet, but we have more. I guess the other thing that's kind of cool that we're running right now, not immediately related to Build a Model Month, but I'd be neglectful if I mentioned it, is we have a sweepstakes running right now.
Oh, right on.
You can win a big old package of like $1,000 worth of model kits from people like Airfix and so forth. So
right on. Do you know the dates offhand for that?
That is June 1 to June 30th.
Okay,
so you can enter now.
Perfect.
And it's open to everybody in Canada and the United States except Rhode Island and Quebec, I think.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know why. I know why Rhode Island. I don't know why Quebec. But anyway, go to finescale.com/June sweeps for information on how to enter and all that kind of stuff.
All right, wonderful. All right, we're about to wrap this up. Thanks so much for your time. It was great to see you again and to connect and I'll escort you back into your dungeon.
Thank you. My dungeon.
Right.
Their dungeon.
Okay, thanks again.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, hi listeners of SMP. It's Anthony here again. I got another amazing special guest and friend of the show. We interviewed Jason Eaton quite a while ago, and we're back here again with him. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm having a great weekend. It's awesome. So inspiring. What's your take on Wonderfest so far?
This is a banner year. If anybody made this their first Wonderfest.
Oh wow!
There's going to be a lot to live up to for the next one. I've been coming to Wonderfest for so long that I can't literally remember or pinpoint which year it was. But we were trying to figure that out last night with a couple of people. Everybody trying to remember when their first, experience happened. And I think I'm like 2011 or 2007. Like it's somewhere in the late 2000s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And this is a big one, of course, because it's the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. Yep. So, of course, Star Wars near and dear to your heart.
It is.
Right? And I know you had a big display today, and Tested.com was there. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, that was fun. Every year we put on a little dog and pony show with 6 to 8 tables. I feel very fortunate that every year, they give us this space and, everybody has a good time. And I try to make it, either relatable to, like, this year there was, like, give it a theme.
Yeah.
So this year it was the 40th of Return of the Jedi. So we had this cool participatory thing where you get a Death Star Tower casting and, build it up. And some people did riffs on them and made cool, weird ones, which I thought was really super gratifying.
Neat.
And then, Norm showed up and was like, hey, can we, talk to you guys, and we were all very, very flattered.
Yeah, that's Norm from Tested listeners. So look him up. He does great, interesting videos about different hobby topics. Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So what did you have in your display, just so we can give people a sort of frame of reference?
We had. I'll start with the marquee piece. My friend John Sabian made the Rebel Blockade Runner in studio scale, 6 feet long.
Wow.
We traveled 10 hours to get here with it. It fits somehow, like it's like a TARDIS situation, where we got that and 3 people and all of our bags and then all the crap I brought into this, gigantic minivan.
Nice.
So yeah, John's model. I had a studio scale X-wing red one. I got some good reference on it finally.
And I understand that was a bit of a white whale for you.
Absolute white whale. Yeah. It went from I only have 3 pictures of it that really show anything of value, and none on the bottom, to more than I ever could have hoped for.
Wow.
So that it was like, well, I know what I'm building next because this is my baby. And then I made a Bomar Monk, which is that brain in a jar spider thing from Return of the Jedi.
Very cool.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett.
And I understand that you used a scan of your own brain as the Bomar's brain.
I used to work for the NIH, and they calibrated the MRI machine, and I was like, "Can you do me?" And so they stuck me in the thing and gave me a file, and literally that's the other reason I made that model. I was like, "Well, I got my brain. What could I? Oh, I know what I could do. There's a Star Wars model."
That's awesome.
How unsurprising.
Yeah. Now, speaking of work, I understand that you just did a big career switch. Now you are a professional modeler at large. You ditched your day job. So how's that transition been?
Yeah, seamless. Pretty weird. I worked there for 20 years and quit at the end of January. The whole thing felt like a very natural progression. I didn't have like a seed of doubt about it. I have a very loving and supporting wife that was
awesome.
That it was almost her idea. I feel incredibly, I feel incredibly lucky. And it's people, when there a couple of people are like, "Oh, I heard you retired," and I'm like, I am working harder than I ever would have if I'd just been sitting at a desk rotting away. Like, oh my god, like 'cause I'm my own boss now, and it's like I'm a tyrant. So it's all
awesome. You rule with an iron fist there, right?
Yeah. I have unlimited PTO, but man, the hours. Yeah.
Can you give us a snapshot of like what is your working life now? What's it like?
So part of the whole like spiel would be I've always done all the cooking. I enjoy it. It's like an extension of creativity for me. One day in my 30s, I realized food was like art supplies, and I was like, "You idiot! You should have been doing this all the whole time."
Definitely.
So I get up at 5 o'clock or by 6 o'clock because I'm old now and my body's just like, time to get up with the roosters. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
So I get up, I, start the house. I do, the morning chores, feed the cats and all, empty dishwasher, all that stuff. And lately I've been spending about an hour just like drinking coffee and petting my cat and getting ready for the day, and then I'm down in the shop for most of the day.
Nice.
I break for food. I break to do like maybe vacuum or something. I have like a sort of new routine where I'm like, on Monday I'm going to do all the towels and sheets. Like it's very mundane, but it's interspersed with a ton of model making, and it's great because now if I want to prime something in the morning, I will know that it's going to be dry enough by afternoon that I can either manipulate it and prime it more, or then start painting. So it's sort of absolutely has sped up the workflow. Oh, and I will say that like part of that morning routine where I'm drinking my coffee, I will go down and swap out a 3D print if it finished printing overnight. So it's like, all right, Kat, you can wait for like 5 minutes. I just got to go push a button downstairs.
So it's all workflow.
It's all workflow, and like I'm weird and like I crave ritual and routine. So I definitely have been coalescing into like I'm doing this on this day and this on this day, and it's nice.
Right on. So can you give us an idea about what kind of projects you're working on? I know you've done some work for for official Star Wars.
Making a model for Lucasfilm was a dream come true. That was awesome. That was the one where I was like, oh, I'm actually getting to do what ILM would have done, kind of, sort of, because I was given production art, and then I have meetings with the story group, and it was really nuts. It was really incredible. As going forward, I think I'm going to build another X-Wing because it's like, potato chips. You can't eat just one. But I'm revisiting the Ralph McQuarrie Millennium Falcon, like that 3-foot model.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. And that was in 2017, and I've gotten so much better at 3D that I really kind of want to tweak a couple things and build a new one. So that's probably the big one. There's a lot of unfinished projects that I want to finish. Like I'm making, and some of them are almost done. It's like I get to like a point where I'm like, I only have like a couple days left to finish this, and it sits for like a year.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's
oddly.
like modeler's ADHD, but it's just like I know you'll come back into the fold at some point. So finishing Blair's saucer from The Thing, and that's that weird one that he was building underneath the hut. It's like it looks like it's made of the helicopter parts or whatever. That's just a fun model because there's no reference, so you just have to sort of riff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I gotta finish that. There's a TIE fighter that I've decided I want to do Empire Strikes Back style, and extend the wings out a little bit. And because I have a lot of cool shade and that's the material that goes in the wings. It's really hard to come by. And I have enough of it that's kind of damaged that I thought, I'm going to do the asteroid hit wing, like that's all crumpled. So I'm going to do that, which is going to probably torque someone who's looking for cool shade. How dare I, crunch it all up? But just know that it's already a little messed up anyway.
There you go. You're safe. You're in the clear.
Yeah.
Will you be doing more projects for like the Disney Star Wars?
I am on call, man.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. So it's real.
Well, if they want something, I just saw a couple of them a couple weeks ago when I was out in California, and we were talking about the future and projects and stuff. So I'm still in their hearts and minds, so which is excellent, which is nice. But you can wait a while before that kind of stuff happens, and I never expect anything. So if I get the call, I answer the call. Absolutely,
of course. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Now that the official piece that you did was a space station.
Yeah, Starlight Beacon.
And where did that appear?
On the internet. It appeared. Well, it's from the High Republic. It's like a series of graphic novels and young adult books or adult books. And they have something called the High Republic Show on the Star Wars YouTube channel. And then it's essentially, I made it, they wanted it for like set dressing. So they'd have like a really nice desktop model. It's like 3 feet tall. It's kind of big.
Yeah.
For their set, their stage. And then COVID hit, and it sort of turned into like the stage was suddenly in the presenter's garage. So now it's back at the Presidio, where they had intended it to be initially, and I completely went over and above and beyond. I added, lights. I tried to make it as close to a filming model as possible.
Yeah, it was spectacular. I really loved it.
Thanks. Yeah, it's just if it's for Star Wars, if it's literally for Star Wars people, why not
go the distance?
Yeah. And I had quoted the timeline of how long I thought it would take. Sort of keeping in like using the reference in my head of how long it takes me to make something myself. And it turns out when you get to make something up, it goes by way faster than if you're like staring at these 40-year-old grainy photos trying to like figure out what parts they use. It was a blast.
And by that time you have that vernacular of the style in your head, so you kind of knew how to roll with it, but it's your own creation.
It was incredibly gratifying to have like my every 2-week meeting with them. And for Pablo to say, you've got the design language down. We don't need to we're going to meet with you less often because I trust you now.
That's amazing.
And that was incredibly cool to hear.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, listen, I don't want to keep you away from all that Star Wars goodness downstairs. So tell the listeners, if they want to check out Jason Eaton's work, where are they going to go?
JasonEatonStudio.com.
All right. So I know you have great galleries there of your works.
Yeah. There's a link to my email if you want to harass me. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I think I'm easy to find. I seem to be all over the place.
I found you.
Yeah, there you go. But JasonEatonStudio.com is my website. Wonderful. I probably have a link to my Instagram on there. I can't remember off the top of my head. I need to update it. I've got like 5 models to update it.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it was awesome catching up.
Yeah, thank you.
We're anxious to see what you're going to do next. So that's
so
awesome. All right. Well, thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thank you too.
And we'll catch up with you again.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I can't wait to talk again.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, SMP listeners, it's Anthony again. I'm roaming the hallways, and I found probably the funniest guy at the entire Wonderfest con.
That's no pressure.
Okay.
Right. Thanks.
This is Wally from Fun Decals. How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing, Anthony?
I'm awesome. You having a good time?
There's a great vibe here at this show.
It is.
And I've been coming here for about 20 years.
Yeah.
And this is actually, I mean, you go to things, you have expectations, and started to wane here for a little bit. My expectations started to dip a little bit. Well, not this year.
This year's a banner year, isn't it?
This year's great. Yeah. 1,032 models on the table.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, that's like a freaking nationals.
Yeah. So listeners, let me tell you, I ran into Wally. I was in line for something, and this guy starts riding me right away. I'm laughing, he's laughing, and it turns out he is the sole proprietor.
No.
I'm
half
of the dynamic duo of Fun Decals. You make decals.
We make
decals.
Decals, whatever.
Yeah, I'm in the decals camp.
The decals camp. Okay, that's right. You're what we call a snowback.
See what I mean?
So
tell us about Fun Decals. What are you making? Fun Decals.
We do aftermarket decals for aircraft.
Nice.
And the start of it starts with a guy named Jennings Heilig.
Okay.
People will know him from Liveries Unlimited.
Okay. I think I've heard of that.
Does a lot of airliner stuff, or did a lot of airliner stuff. This is me talking, not him. A lot of the guys in the airliner circles consider him God.
There's a lot of gods in our hobby.
and if somebody needs to know something or whatever, they will go to him.
He was the guy.
And this is just me observing how they treat him on their websites and stuff like that. And I met him at the Nationals in Atlanta, I think in 2005.
Right on.
And knew of him, didn't know him. Then I met him, now I know him.
Good.
And I do a lot of research into my own planes. Looking at airplanes on the internet, that's my porn.
Okay.
And somebody once said that of me, and they started laughing, and I went, that's not too far from the truth.
Yeah, let's make some money off of that.
And I'm exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was driving home one day, and I had this information on a certain Spitfire. Won't go into too much details. And I said, I'm not going to give this away to anybody anymore. I want to print it myself. So I called him. I knew he did decals, and he said, it's funny you should mention that. I'm getting back into it, and I'm calling it Fun Decals because I want to do this just for fun.
It's actually Fun Decals.
And stuff like that. Well, exactly. The name has a history. It changes. It morphs. So I said, look, and I just blurted it out. I said, here's the deal. You design them, you print them, you draw them, you get them printed, whatever. I'll do all the shipping. We'll go 50-50.
Okay.
And all I need is an umlaut over the U, like Farfignugan.
Got it.
And that's how it became Fun Decals.
Awesome. All right. So what are your topics that are on your popular sheets?
Oh, yeah.
Your subjects, rather.
So it's kind of all over the place. We kind of got smart about it after a while and said, Tamiya's coming out with a brand new P38. Do we want to make decals for it? Yes, we do.
All right.
So we did we have a sheet for the F and the G's.
Nice.
We flew some E's and H's on there because you can get there without too much trouble.
Yes.
And we had a whole lot of fun doing the research.
There's an H kit, apparently.
There's an H5 kit.
Yeah.
And they didn't even include the parts to make an H1. And we're like, why,
why to me, why?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. There should be a song.
Okay, what else is on your, what else are your most popular or most successful
Our most popular
sheets?
sheet of all time, most successful is NASA T. Tom 38s.
Okay. Cool.
Interesting story. Driving home in the car from work one day, talking to him on the phone because I had a 30-minute commute, which for me is a long commute.
Yep.
And he said, have you ever thought about NASA T38s? And I go, I love NASA T38s. They're pretty and all this kind of stuff. White. Sometimes I have the worm. Sometimes I have the swoosh.
Yeah.
And 7 days later, we had a sheet.
Well done. Excellent.
And 4 printings.
Awesome.
So
yeah, that's great.
And hey,
what's going on?
Now,
this is live, folks. Right, we're in the heart of it.
We're in the heart of it. So our stuff now is all printed by Cartograph. We've
excellent.
A couple of printers and stuff. We started to think that our stuff was really good.
Yeah.
And we said we only wanted the best to print it, and they are the best.
Excellent.
That's why our prices. That's why our prices are a little hefty. $25, $30.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me interject here. You get what you pay for. You're not spending that much to get a decal sheet for your kit that you spent money on.
Yeah.
You want things to work out. Buy something good like Fun Decals.
The complaint we normally get is, "Damn you! Now I have to buy another P38."
Yeah.
which is a great place to be in. So. And early on, we were going to, of course, our business model was to revolutionize the whole decal industry and take over the world.
Of course.
And so we were going to do only single sheets, and you have to print your instruction sheet from the internet.
Okay.
And we thought the printing, you'd have to download it as a PDF file and print it.
Okay.
And we thought that would be too hard for people to swallow.
Yes.
And the very first day, somebody's like, "Cool, I just downloaded this." And
okay, well, let me get this straight. So they're printing their own decal sheet or their own instruction placement sheet?
Cartograph prints our sheet. Were you not listening?
I'm clarifying for our listeners, okay? So you print out your own decal placement instruction sheet.
Yeah, the customer does.
Okay, all right. That I can deal with.
Yeah, but the thing of it is because of that, because we're not paying for printing, right?
Yeah.
We're not limited.
Mm-hmm.
We can put whatever we want on those sheets.
Ah, okay.
So one of the early, we did one for the Army Air Corps Mosquito F8, which is a Canadian-built Bomber 7.
Excellent.
And the Spook.
Okay.
And it was 7 pages. And we went, so what?
Nice.
And then a little bulb went off in our head when we started going to bigger sheets, going, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
So now our decal placement guys are usually 40, 50, 60 pages.
So they're really in depth.
And you get all the 4 views with it, but you also get every bit of primary source that we go to.
Oh, that's awesome.
And if we find some groovy stuff like, hey, these are the way the pitot tubes and the insulator wire things were done in the Solomons because they weren't done this way anywhere else on our Corsair sheet, we give you that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So whatever we get that we thought was interesting and might be of interest to modelers, we put in.
Yeah, I love that stuff because sometimes I don't know enough about the vehicle, but I do want to, get that accuracy, and it's helpful if someone's done the research and it's available.
We've had a few people say that
accessible.
We've had people say that, hey, some of that stuff's my favorite book.
Yeah, so, right on. Excellent.
So, but
that's awesome.
So that's how that went.
Okay, so can you give us a little hint about upcoming projects?
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, right on.
Just this week, I found out that the new printing for the Finnish BF109s Gs are coming.
Okay.
And I'm such an idiot, I forget the gentleman's name, but anybody who's interested in that will know the guy's name that's giving us the information. He got in touch with Jennings and
need help?
wanted to make sure that we got hold of it.
Nice.
Okay.
Now, there's no 4-view drawings on this. Just primary sources of pictures of actual aircraft.
Oh, wow.
And how many kills each one of those airframes got.
Oh, wow.
And it is some really cool stuff that's never been quite accurately done before.
That's great stuff for modelers because it's one thing to see the same plane over and over, like with the box markings, but that gives the modeler a chance to really customize the kit. Right, do something a bit different, give it a bit of flair, and different theater. Yeah, and I normally gravitate to the stuff that's got some sort of extra little hidden story to it. Cool.
Like one of the 109s on this sheet, I think got something like 25 kills in 26 combat hours or something ridiculous.
Wow.
Like that.
Yeah, that is remarkable.
And there was one of our Spitfires. We did a Spitfire because, hey, to me it was coming out with the Spitfire Mark 1.
Yep.
And then Edward was coming out with a Spitfire Mark 1. And it's kind of those slaps on both sides of your face going, maybe you need to make a Spitfire Mark 1 sheet.
Yeah.
So,
I like how you respond to the market needs.
Well, also too, I could never be a drug dealer because I would use up all the product, and stuff. So the same way with my with the decal. I say my decals; they're our decals.
Yeah.
But I have to have at least an interest.
Yeah.
And it takes me there. So we started doing the research on the Spitfires and stuff, and we came across this guy named Delancey Cook, commander of 65 Squadron at the Battle of France, and then didn't quite make it into the Battle of Britain. He got shot down and killed on July the 8th. But he had more of an impact on the actual Battle of Britain than probably any sole person.
Wow.
And
I did not know that.
We didn't know it either, but when we started getting into it, he decided that the Spitfire needed a variable pitch prop. They had it, de Havilland had it available.
Yeah.
He said, put it on my plane. And then he said, hey, I get 7 miles per hour faster and I can get to the ceiling quicker and all this kind of stuff. So short story, goes up the chain. And then they say, fine, we need every Spitfire and every Hurricane and every Defiant changed now.
Amazing.
So in between the Battle of France and the Battle of Britain, all these changes were made.
Yeah.
And it had an immediate outcome to the actual battles in the air.
Uh-huh.
And Flight Magazine in 1943 did an article addressing just that. So we dropped it right in the decals, the placement guide and stuff.
That's awesome.
And we've got his plane on there. And that might be, again, one of the most, if not the most, historically significant Spitfire.
Yeah, I was going to say very relevant.
We had no idea what it was about, but when we saw how cool it was, we're like, it's going on.
That's amazing. Okay, so Wally, this is a notable sheet. It's coming out or available?
Which one?
The Spitfire.
That's already out.
It's out.
Okay. It's available. It's available in 48.
Yes.
And then Qatari says, "Hey, we're doing a 30-second scale sheet." We're like, boom, dropped it on there. So that was just basically just hit a button and draw it up.
Okay.
More sheets coming up. Of course, Door Wings, Ukraine. We want to support them as much as we can.
Awesome.
So we are coming out with the P-47 early so C's and early D's.
Yep.
So much nose art, so much cool stories.
Oh yeah.
And you think it's like, well, we've all seen it before. Yeah, but gee, I wish you had the time to look at it as much as we did, because I think it's fantastic. It might be the best work we've done, as a matter of fact.
Excellent.
And it's coming out soon. It's like in the drawing stage.
Okay. Very cool.
And then we have 2 sheets of mosquitoes coming out.
Okay, nice. Hey, this is all hot takes that you're getting
Nobody
right now.
Hot
drops on Scale Model Podcast. Thanks, Wally. Oh yeah, we love this stuff.
You zany kids.
Yeah. All right, listen. So, Ballers want to get these fun decals. Where are they going to go to get them? Give them the information.
You can go to fundecals.net.
Yep.
Buying directly from us.
Yep.
Victory Productions.
Yeah.
The 48ers. We're in talks with Squadron.
Excellent.
And stuff.
Great.
And stuff. So there you go.
All right. So check them out. All right. So Wally, I warned you it was going to be short and sweet, right? Just like me.
Well, you were short. That was fine.
All right. Thanks.
Like
I want to thank you for sitting down with me.
My fucking pleasure.
Yeah. It's been a blast. It's been awesome. All right. Thanks a lot, Wally. You enjoy the rest of the weekend.
You too, brother.
Thanks. Okay, welcome back to Anthony at Wonderfest. It is wild and crazy here. It's zany. I'm trying to squeeze in a few more interviews, and I'm very lucky to run into George Salinas. He is head judge of the Wonderfest contest. Also, friend of the show. You've been on Scale Model Podcast before. And so welcome back. We haven't had a chance to chat, but we're doing this right in the middle. He's packing up his models at the big Return of the Jedi 40th display. So, George, how's everything going?
Going extremely well.
Yeah, excellent.
Yep, for as many pieces as we had this year.
Yep.
It went really well.
What was that number for the contest?
We had 1,049 entries on display.
Wild.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a record?
Yeah, it broke last year's record, which was 843.
Okay. I mean, both impressive numbers. Yeah. This has been a huge event.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Any highlights at the moment as we wind down?
Other than the massive amount of stuff that was in there, I mean, there was really, really high quality.
Oh yeah.
That was the thing. That was the other thing that's super important is we had a huge volume of entries, but the quality was outstanding.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
As a contestant myself, very stiff competition. I'm happy to.
No, you're good.
I'm happy to get some awards in that. It was great. So. Yeah, I mean, a lot of work goes into putting on a show like this, right? And it's absolutely worth it for people to come down and to check it out. Yeah, that's
and the other thing is we also went to a new online entry system this year.
Okay.
So we're going to try to expand on that. The more people we can get to do it online, the easier it is for us to.
And I missed that. I ended up scrawling my name out 9 times.
We have the manual entries.
Yeah. That's a great system though to have it online. People like to do it up ahead of time.
Yeah, it's super important because it's everything gets put in a database, and it's easier for us to assign awards. And we have a gal that does all the manual entries for us.
Yep.
And it takes up a lot of her time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice thing to have if you're going to start to get this many entries,
Right. So some automation is kind of helping it flow. Actually, and I got to say, it was a very easy show to get set up. It's well run, and there's a very smooth process because I mean it's still chaotic, right? But it's way less chaotic than other local shows and smaller shows. So congrats on that. Very organized.
Yeah, we're about making people happy. I mean, I think the most fun we have the entire weekend is handing out the awards in an award room at the end.
Yeah, we missed that this year.
We get to meet people.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
that was a bit different, right? There was no like typical award ceremony.
Right. We used to do the ceremony.
Yep.
COVID took care of that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going to put 400 people in a room for 3 hours.
Right.
But it worked out for the better in the end. Mm-hmm. Because it actually goes much faster.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
And
there's like pros and cons to either method, right?
There is. Yeah, there is.
Awesome.
Everything went fine. They also put me in charge of the display B room because it's models.
Yep. Oh yeah. So listeners, that's where we had this fantastic Return of the Jedi 40th display. There's going to be lots of pictures online, videos online if you want to check out some of this amazing work. We're talking studio scale, very interesting pieces. I believe Tested.com was down doing a piece on.
Yes, they were
on this display. So you can find that on Tested.com. So and Wonderfest.com site. Yeah. How about next year? You thinking about next year yet, or is it too soon?
We're gonna take a week or two off.
Well deserved.
Yeah, my head's kind of swimming right now.
Oh, for sure. Did you get any goodies in the dealer's room?
I did not. I never got to the dealer's room.
Wow.
I was too busy.
No kidding, eh? That's wild.
Yeah.
How you doing? So any other thoughts? I don't want to keep too long. You're a busy man. Everyone needs you.
I'm just going to come back. I mean, you got to wonder when this is going to plateau. I don't really care. We can just keep adding more and more and more.
Yeah.
But next to IPMS Nats, we are now the second biggest show in the country.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's something to attend for sure.
Yeah, that's where we want to be.
Yeah.
And this is on a very isolated genre too. It doesn't cover everything.
Yeah.
We used to be the redheaded stepchildren.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of the hobby industry. And that's not the modeling industry. And that's not really the case anymore.
Do you see an expansion into other categories when it comes to the contest?
The only thing we might add, we probably will actually, is we might add real space modeling.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's very relatable, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's because it's out there. And it's, it's in space and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think we're probably going to do that. I mean, there's some really, really terrific kits out there that you can buy nowadays.
Yes.
So we're looking to maybe take advantage of that. But other than that, I mean, if something else new comes along that, we can get in our hobby, we'll do it.
Yeah, and that's the strength of Wonderfest was to, give a little love to the sci-fi and the other more eclectic genres, right?
Yeah,
and the niche stuff.
Yeah, the sci-fi, horror, fantasy.
Yeah.
It's like I tell some folks that didn't think they'd be welcome here. There's room for everybody at the table.
Yeah.
With what we do.
Absolutely.
With this genre.
Yeah.
There's no reason to think you can't bring something.
It's very important. And that's why a whole slew of us have come down from Canada, right? And we try to attend, and it's worth the drive, right? To kind of get that recognition from your peers, and even that sort of acknowledgement, and people know what you're talking about when it comes to certain sci-fi stuff. Where you get that that recognition in other circles or like your traditional IPMS shows. So it's part of the draw, right? So,
it is. Yeah,
spreading the love.
Yeah, plus it's not the same when you guys aren't down here. It just ain't.
But it's a great event. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, George, I see there's a lineup of folks that want to grab you.
Yeah.
We'll leave it right there. Okay. Thanks a lot for chatting. Yeah. Thanks for doing all the work.
Thanks for grabbing me. I seen you all weekend. I just did not have the time.
Oh, no worries. I was having fun yesterday, and today I was trying to do a little work in air quotes. So chit chat with people. Yeah. But thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care.
Hopefully we'll be talking this time next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. As I said, great set of interviews. Like I said, just it kind of shows you what goes behind the scenes and the camaraderie and the family feeling it is at Wonderfest. Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
I think for the record, you mispronounced Paul Bodensick's last name.
I always do, and he knows that. He laughs at me when I do it.
I know you do it. That's why I had to raise it. It's like
that's all right. That's cool. He makes great products, as we know.
Yep.
All righty. So we're also gonna we're gonna talk about a little bit about another suspicious character who was at Wonderfest, namely Steve over at Cult TV Man, as he gets through his post Wonderfest catching up and all the latest from him. Let's hear what's happening from Steve at Cult TV Man. Post Wonderfest edition, as I've already mentioned on the podcast, Cult TV Man had a great Wonderfest. But that's not the only place you can find them in addition to online. They will be attending some model shows coming up. Of course, Modelpalooza, IPMS Orlando on October 13th to 15th. Monsterama in Atlanta on October 27th to 29th. The Chattanooga Model Con, Chattanooga, Tennessee, on January 5 to 6. That's a tentative. AtlantaCom, March 15th, 2024, another tentative. And, of course, next year's Wonderfest in Louisville, June 1st and 2nd. So that's what's happening there. But they're also having an amazing after Wonderfest sale, whatever you want to call it. They're great deals, including the Space 1999 Eagle 22-inch 148 scale from round 2. Normally it's $115.99. You can get it now for $99. You can get the Classic Enterprise Pilot Parts Pack from Polar Lights, normally $29.95. How about this for a deal? $7.50. Absolutely amazing. The Aries, here's a good deal for you folks who like 2001. 148 scale Aries from Mobius. It's in stock, normally $224, $179 right now. Just absolutely amazing. What else do we have here? We have the Razor Crest Mandalorian from Star Wars, of course, 172nd scale, $50 down from 71. Definitely check some of those out. They've also got a couple of other new kits, including the Cult TV Man drinking glass. You would have seen those at Wonderfest for $9.99. You've also got the Dark Star from Skyhook in stock, $39.99. And Travel Pods and Work Bees, 1/350th for your Enterprise kit. And they're from Lake Monster. They're $16.99. So as we see, a ton of deals as always. Don't forget to check them out, culttvmanshop.com for all the shopping. You want to hear more about other things, culttvman.com. And don't forget to tell them the Scale Model Podcast sent you. Okay, now latest hobby announcements. Quite a few varied ones here. We're going to start off with our friends at Special Hobbies. They had two announcements to do with their that German trawler ship, the Chris Finfuter cutter or whatever. Yeah, I'm not even going to. All right, yeah. See, Jeff says it better. They had one from late May, so they were sharing some of the progress. And again, I love when they go behind the scenes. So they were showing the metal molding blocks, including one of the milling machines working on it. So that's the first link, and then the second one is a bit more. They just released last week. It's already the box art, and they're showing a few more of the molding blocks being machined. So how the sprues go, and that's always neat to kind of see behind the scenes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so some very cool looking parts, and how they do it. And you can see how the plastic flows down the runners. So that's always cool to see. All right, Toyota Celicas. D model, two new tool WRC Celicas in 24 scale. So this was actually a very famous and controversial car in 2000. I believe it was in 94 to 99. These are in the rally car challenge, right? So basically the European Rally Challenge, the World Rally Challenge, these guys are nuts, right? These are the guys that go, two guys in the car, they go full out. The navigator's telling the driver ahead how sharp the corner is. And, they're going down little country roads where you should be doing no more than 20, and they're doing like 120. Just absolutely amazing. So this is the ST205 GT4. And they've got two different models. So you've got the 204, and then you got the 205, which has the night driving lights. And look, you should see this thing when you see the link, like the built-in driving lights. Like, yeah, at night it's going to blind anything.
It's incredible. It's amazing you can even see over the two central lights.
I know. Yeah. So there was controversy because the FIA's inspectors discovered the turbo inlet restrictor fitted to all World Rally cars to cap power outputs at 300 horsepower had been illegally modified by this particular team to allow more air to enter the engine, yet was also designed to be, quote unquote, hopefully undetectable when disassembled. Well, that didn't quite work for them. The FIA, and I love this, the FIA, though clearly impressed by the ingenuity of the illegal device, came down hard on TTE and to the lesser extent Toyota, which was cleared of any blame because the tampering did occur at team level. They were stripped of all points earned in 95, and the works team was banned from competing in the 96. So yeah, it never came back. But again, you'll see, like I say, there is two kits. There's one from the Portugal Rally in 1995. So $66 from HobbyLink Japan, US. And then you've also got the other one with, the headlight options and all that. And then
you got to do the headlights.
You got to do them off the headlights. The other kit is the one from the 95 Monte Carlo Rally, 124th again, 66 US with some different options you can do for headlights again. So yeah, they show some of the CAD renderings, a lot of marking options. If you're a rally car fan, these are very famous cars. So people who follow this will be very excited. And they do a lot. D Model does a lot of rally cars. If you go to their site, Ford Sierras, Cosworth, all sorts. They really have that market basically. So yeah, that's from our good friends at D Models. Okay, Hobby Boss for July. Just two. First one's kind of curious. The U.S. Navy, the battleship Iowa, BB-61, 1/350th scale. So this is a big beast, 309 US. So I don't know if this is a repop or not. I haven't had time to look, but 1,500 parts, 77 centimeters long, 10 centimeters wide, 20 sprues, metal gun barrel, anchor chain, hull made from multi-directional side molds, and like most people, you're going to be spending the same amount again in aftermarket, whether it's photo etch or 3D print. It also contains two of the OS2 seaplanes. Display scanned. So yeah, a lot of photo etch comes with a good amount of photo etch actually.
Yeah, you almost maybe you don't need to get too much extra for this one.
Yeah, I don't know. These 350th guys. Well, I'm about to eventually do a destroyer, so I'm not going to say too much because I may implicate myself.
I'll believe that when I see you.
I know, exactly. There'll be a lot of 3D printed stuff for that. Okay, next up, and also a fairly large, a German bridge or river fording tank, a bridge layer, the German Iguana PSB 2-14 by Hobby Boss, 1/35th scale, around $61 US. So this is a bridge tank that uses the body of the Leopard 2. Reguan, R-E-G-U-A-N, means iguana in German. So it can be loaded with various types of bridges and can bridge gaps with a maximum length of 26 meters. Hey, we could almost use that in town because we got bridges under construction.
We always have bridges under construction.
I know, that's true. So yeah, nice looking kit. If you're into the bridge building, a couple of base marking schemes with a big ass bridge on top of it.
It's just kind of fun to have something different.
Exactly.
Some with a turret on it. This is just more interesting.
And this is a big kit, 39 centimeters in length.
Yeah,
multi-slide molded, 23 sprues, 540 parts. Yeah, another way, rubber tracks. So not which is interesting. It's not individually linked. But there you go. I'm sure you can get some. A little bit of photo etch, some copper cable. So that is from Hobby Boss. Okay, Luke Graff announced the plans for the rest of 2023. These are the guys that do like World War I planes. Simply amazing things. So basically, they posted a list of things, and you can go to their website to see the details. But mostly 132nd subjects. The Handwrought HD1, a Handwrought Macchi Macchi Handwrought HD1. The HD2, a float plane version and a wheels version, an Albatross W4 with a Mercedes D3 engine, a Haberstadt D2 with a Mercedes engine, both in 32nd and 48th. The previous ones were all 32nd, by the way. Phoenix, D1, Phoenix, yeah, D1 and D2 with looks like Hero 200 horsepower engines, and a Curtis Jenny J4 with a Curtis engine, 132nd, 148, and they've also got two they haven't announced yet.
Two secret ones, and everybody's going nuts trying to think of what the secret ones were.
Yeah, and again, if you ever have a chance, go to their website. They do some amazing, they do absolutely amazing stuff. They're out of Poland, and yeah, they just again, if you miss Wingnut Wings, you won't go wrong with these guys. And they're showing a couple on their website. They show the Albatross 3 coming soon. A lot of stuff you can pre-order, and again, even their engines, you can buy the engines separately, and they're a work of art. They've got, like, I'm looking at one here, the Austro Daimler 160 185 engine in 132nd scale. It's 19 euros, and just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous itself, all 3D printed, and just So, like I said, if you just want to build an engine and you don't want to, and you don't want to have the nightmare of rigging, you can do that. Just saying. So gorgeous. Okay, other big things. There's a lot of big things coming in this episode. So 3D Wild, who does a lot of cool things, they're doing a announced HMS Vanguard. This is a World War II British fast battleship in, again, 1/350th scale. This is a must-have for British battleship fans. We really haven't had one. So that's going to be nice. It's going to be about $328 US for it. So that's going to be cool. Looks like some nice looking built-in photo etch that are included with the kit. So again, for those of you who like to build these, this is the company that also does, we're going to talk about them in a minute. They're also doing, in fact, I'm just going to bring that up the list here. So that's a battleship in World War II. Let's say, Jeff, you want something a little bit more modern. How about the USS Gerald R. Ford CVN 78? So this is the new US Gerald Ford class aircraft carrier. How about it in 1/350th?
At $550.
Well, that's without the air wing. So if you want the air wing, so you can get an air wing A or B. So Air Wing A is supposed to be like around 2028. So it's a lot of F-35s, F-18Es and Fs, the F-18G. What else here? CMB-22, the Osprey, and E2s, etc., helicopters. So that's the 2028 Air Wing. If you want the 2022 Air Wing, which is basically a lot more F-18s, you can also get that as well. And those will set either of those options will set you back $850. Now you got to realize though, these guys, they're 350th aircrafts. Again, works of art. You can, I know when they released their Japanese aircraft carriers from World War II, people were raving about the aircraft, and they come with individual decals, accurate squadron markings, etc., etc.
I love the 2028 collection with all the drones and the unpiloted aircraft. This is kind of almost the verge of sci-fi. Yeah,
and again, you see from the pictures here, absolutely gorgeous. It will include the decals for 78, 79, 80, and 81. So all the sister ships that are either being built or been planned. So just an absolutely gorgeous kit. Like, again, I'm looking at some of these, and you got brass, high strength 3D print resin, high resolution 3D print resin. Yeah, just absolutely gorgeous looking. And eventually we're going to see one at a show.
Oh, yeah.
And looks like even you can take off the middle of the deck and show the hangar bay below.
Look at the bow on them. That's
Yeah.
unusual. That's
Yep.
really quite the
Yep.
protrusion.
All new. Again, this is their newest design. One's been built and is at sea. The other one's coming soon, and it's like the next 10 years. There's 4, I believe, on the skids have been planned. So yeah, just again, if you have the room and you're into that, then there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll expect we'll hey, that would go well with your enterprise. Just
it would.
Just saying. Yeah, and you have the room. So just saying. All right. ICM in June. Let's have a look here. So this is their announcements. The AH1G Cobra and 135th. It is available now, apparently, in the stores. You've got a KI-21 in the Royal Thai Air Force markings, which you don't see very often. The Bristol Beaufort Mark 1, 148th in the British Domains Air Force. What else?
British Dominions.
British Dominions. Sorry, did I say domains? I did say domains, didn't I?
You're still thinking about work. You're still thinking.
I know. I'm thinking. IT, dude. Then a Ural military box vehicle of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, because of course ICM is a Ukrainian company, in the digital camouflage, 1/72nd scale. You've got a U.S. World War II U.S. military patrol vehicle with a G7 107 truck with a M19 19A4 machine gun on top of it. U.S. helicopter pilots from the 60s and 70s. And then a U.S. infantry acrylic paint set from their paint line. 5 colors and one varnish. Perfect for the aforementioned infantry or helicopter pilots or the military patrol, etc.
Yeah. Nice stuff.
Yep. So that's kind of cool. And then one other option there from ICM, they are going to release in 1/48 scale the Mistel 1/48 scale. I remember reading about this when I was a kid. So towards the end of the war, Germany was getting pretty desperate. They're getting short on pilots. So what they decided to do is you basically take an old Ju-88 bomber, you remove the cockpit, replace it with automated like radio control, remote control flying systems. You put a great bloody steel probe, shall we say, being polite. At the front. Yep.
Yeah, hollow car explosive.
Yeah, you pack it full of explosives. You rig up a rig for an ME-109 on top. No, this isn't a kamikaze. So basically, the idea is the German ME-109 pilot would fly basically in tandem these planes together. They were attached. When he would approach the target, he'd put it in a shallow dive, release himself from the Ju-88, and it could be remotely piloted to crash into whatever target, things like bridges and that. So this will be a big kit in 1/48. So this is the Ju-88A4 and the 109F4, and with some extra parts to lash them together. Yeah, and they did all sorts of these. They had, I think they had one with a Messerschmitt 262 as well, and a jet bomber. Like they had all sorts of combinations. I believe Focke-Wulf 190s. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is popular. We may see more of those for the German aircraft fans.
There used to be a number of these molded by other companies, but only in 1/72nd.
I haven't. Yeah, I don't think there's one. I haven't seen many in 1/48, if any. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Okay, next up is a book from AK. Because we've been talking about World War II fighter groups and that. The 56 fighter group from 18th of April 44 to VE Day. So this was the fighter group. They did they basically flew a lot of P-47s. This is a limited edition, includes 2 decal sheets to represent different aircraft of the group in 48th and 72nd scale. So if you've got a few P-47s you want to build, this might be an option. So this is published by AK by Nigel Julian and Peter Randall, 244 pages, hardcover, English text, and about 50 euros. And this looks gorgeous. Again, a ton of history, a lot of color.
Lots of pinup shots too.
Lots of pinup shots, because that's what they did. And you got a lot of decal, 100 color, 336 black and white. A lot of decal sheets with the various schemes, including the nose art, and as you say, a lot of pinups. And selected as subjects for the decals are those either not previously covered by manufacturers or incorrectly presented where they have been. So again, the authors have done their history here, so you can be pretty assured it's pretty accurate. They're also offering, if you order from AK, you can also get basically the book and a Tamiya kit, the two different Tamiya, looks like three different Tamiya kits of the P47, the 3 and 1/48 scale. So one for 70 and then two for 80 euros. So that's a good deal.
It's a great idea to combine the reference book with a top-notch decal sheet.
Yep.
And then throw some kits in too. That's actually a really good concept.
Yeah. So this includes, looks like the original bubble top, the P47D with the Razorback, and then the P47D with the bubble top. The last two are the ones for 10 euros more. But yeah, very limited editions, but definitely worth, if you were thinking about it and you really wanted to get into the P47, this looks great.
The art
Absolutely
is
gorgeous. Yeah.
The art is great as a reference on its own. Really good.
Yep. Quite good if you're into that. Hopefully this will be the first of several. I'd love to see a Spitfire one. I got enough bloody Spitfire kits. So, all right. Ashima. Our good friends Ashima. So a lot of for July, a lot of kits out of Japan. So a lot of their snap kits. But again, if you're into this, and we've seen these at shows and that, so they featured a lot of snap kits of the Nissan R32 Skyline in various, the GTR, including custom wheels, spark silver, black, metallic, crystal white, or gun gray. So 4 different colors for the wheels. You can paint them as you want. About $20, 2,000 yen. And then they've also got because again, the civilian cars are very popular over there. The Nissan 1991 Cifaro Aero Custom. Looks like a coupe, larger coupe. They've got a Honda 112 motorcycle detail up parts set to go with the CB 750. So the 750 and the detail parts set, both the same price, about 2,000 yen for both. Once for the kit, once for the detail parts. There's no picture, sadly, for the detail parts. Then we've got the Crown Majesta by Toyota, the 06 model. That was like their luxury coupe over there. And then the Crown 89 blister style, which looks like a very aggressive, it reminds me of, you remember for a while, I think Ford and Cadillac, they were making like Crown Vics, and you could people were tripping them out with extra wide tires and stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of that. Yeah. But again, so that's from Ashima. I'm trying to remember these guys because they do a lot of the ship stuff. They were well represented at the hobby show. So yeah, always kind of cool as well. Yeah, and again, I'm always curious how it's the civilian cars that are very popular over there. It is a thing. All right. Again, I was hoping for Mr. Goodman because so he could explain some of these, but oh well. Lineup of the latest Gunpla that will go on sale. This is from Gundam.info. So I've just linked it. There's a high grade 1-144 Demi Barding. Lots of cool things, backpacks and that. A lot of Gundam coming out. I know our local store, Neo Tokyo, got an order in from Hasegawa, included some Gundam. There's a lot of stuff being released. So I'm really not going to, because again, I'm in no way an expert, but definitely check out some of the stuff there. This is a great site. I'm sure if you're a Gundam fan, you already got this in your bookmark list, but Gundam.info, definitely a good one to do and see what else is coming out basically.
I just realized when I see this stuff how little I know about it.
Oh, I know. I'm the same. And Anthony's quite good about it. And it's like anything else. There's a lot of stuff that, in the old days, us hobbyists, we kind of know about what was what military and car, but it's a whole other world now. And it's evolving.
I know.
Yep. I also wanted to indicate Bandai's also now, they've created a website where you can download and reference pretty well most of their instructions from their Gundam kits over the years. I think I searched somewhere it's close to 1,000. So they're all in PDFs. You can search by, high grade, master grade, all that. So if you can't find it on ScaleMates, you might be able to find it here. If you cannot find your instructions for your Gundam.
This is a smart marketing move by.
Oh yeah.
By, you know, I mean, because really, it's not just, you don't just go here to find the instructions for something that you may have lost the instructions for, but you're also going to, if you're into these things, then you're going to be looking through here for things you might want to get, and this gives you a real detailed look at what you're getting in the box, which is good.
What I also think is amazing is if you go to the site, and the site's quite good because they talk about when you first go in, you can filter by search by product name, number, release date, by brand, and then you have something called Works, which is their various sub brands. You should see all these Mobile Suit Gundam, Gundam, you know, all the different IP, Gundam Build Universe. This must be like 50 here. It's just, you know, it's, you know, and again, people don't realize how big this thing is.
I think people over there do, but people here.
Yeah. Exactly. So just absolutely amazing. And you just look it up and they're all in PDF and and you got feedback form, operating, and so you click on operating instructions, which brings up the PDF. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Pretty cool indeed. So all right, now onwards and upwards, let's talk a bit about what's new at ScaleMates. Not that we need to be spending any more money between Jeff and I. We'll talk about that soon. It was a successful stash acquisition a couple of weeks. Okay, looking at, this is for June 26. AVD models got a few more fire trucks. 1/43 scale.
What's with the scale?
Popular scale. I don't know.
That's an odd scale.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
They have quite a few. They're out of I think they're out of the Czech Republic. They do 43 on 72nd. To me, it's almost a die-cast scale, but you know, there you go.
Yeah.
But it's not. These are, you know, they've got pickup, all-terrain trucks, Zyra passenger car. We've got a 135th PC91M tank resin kit. That's a lot of resin.
That's a lot of resin. That's a complicated looking tank.
Yeah. Ferrari 812
Competition.
Hey, 124th. A couple of Gundams, and then we go back to the 25th. How about the Mutant's Girlfriend for Atlantis? For Atlantis' mutant kit.
That's a very well endowed girlfriend.
Well, it was back in the 50s, right? You know, 1/12 scale for your mutant, so you can have like this, the girlfriend, the scared girl for your kit, because that's been recently re-released by Atlantis.
Yeah.
What else we have here? The 24th, we've got a Sturmpanzer. Our club president would like that 1/72 scale.
Well, all over it. He'd be all over it.
Yeah, he's probably already ordered it.
Yeah.
Another dinosaur from Bandai Spirits. Landship modeling, a BDT 35th 3D print files in 1/35 scale.
That's not just a dinosaur. That's a Mosasaurus. That's a waterborne giant monstrous crocodile / whale. I mean, that would be pretty cool.
That would be. It would be, yes. You'd also be making fish fingers for like months.
Yeah.
You know?
I think this was the hero creature in one of the more recent Jurassic Park movies.
Oh, quite possibly, yeah. I haven't kept up with those. So.
Oh, they're terrible.
I know, but you know, good fun. I'll tell you about a rabbit hole later. Speaking of going down a rabbit hole, a CB class midget submarine micro mirror, 1/72 scale from the 21st.
That's fun.
Jasmine model,
What is this?
1/48 Corsair. This looks like it's one of those ones that just shows all the like the spars and everything. Yeah, all metal out of China.
It's the skeleton basically of a Corsair.
I'm just trying to look them up here. Jasmine models homepage. Yeah, this is why ScaleMates is a good thing. Our official store, jasminemodel.shop. Yeah, that's what it is. Full structure PE. They've got 109s. Yeah, they have a few things already, but that's basically exactly what it is. Ooh, they have a U-boat. German Navy submarine U-boat type 7C. $36. Here, I'm going to send you a link, Jeff, in our chat.
That looks huge. I mean, just a huge amount of work.
Well, yeah, but again, for some crazy people, right? Here is the link to their shop, and I will include that into the show notes.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't that look nice?
Yeah. We'll throw that in the things we've seen.
That Type 7C U-boat is insane.
Yeah, all photo etch. They have a Valkyrie SR-71. Horton.
Yeah,
They also do a lot of decals and upgrade parts.
See, when you say Valkyrie, I have a different Valkyrie in mind.
Oh yeah, no, this is the Macross Valkyrie. Sorry,
the Macross Valkyrie. Yeah.
A lot less metal on the one you're thinking about.
Look at the SR-71. Oh my God,
I know.
This is crazy.
So the SR-71 is 79, 1:144, 79 US, full interior structured. For experienced modeler, if you are patient and skilled, no painful sanding or painting needed to build this one. Use tweezers and metal glue. You can have a great, unusual masterpiece handiwork. Obviously, some of it's lost in translation. 120 parts. Yeah. 120 parts, 11 centimeters in width, 22 centimeters in length. Wow. Yeah, no. Okay. I think they need to send one to Ian.
Yeah.
Send Ian the sub, and we'll see if he still likes photo etch.
Maybe this will be Musaru time. Maybe we'll do a sub.
Don't give Alan and them ideas, please.
Oh,
how to lose my shit.
You would definitely have some challenges with these.
Oh, I'd have to do 2 versions of the show. One X-rated with me giving my true thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh man. My, look at that. All right. Anyway, let's go back here. So yeah, a few interesting things. What else? Also on the 20th, the Ferry Fulmore from Trumpeter. That's brand new tool. I think we've talked about it before. The French Light Cruiser 1350, the Marseille. Some more Gundams.
EXA vehicle, custom carrier vehicle for Gundam by the looks of it.
From Bandai Spirits, yeah. So it carries your Gundam or when he needs a coffee break.
You can even just get yourself a Pikachu in the sitting pose.
Aw.
Isn't that cute?
No scale on that. And I did notice this is more of an RC, but June 17th, Tamiya has a Scania 770S 8x4 truck, 1/14 scale. That would be a big. Yep.
Have you seen those RC truck shows in Germany?
The ones with the construction equipment and that, yeah. And they're big bucks, very big bucks. Okay, last but not least, June 15th, the Northrop M2, the lifting body. Those of you who remember watching the $6 Million Man, that was the kid. It's breaking. It's breaking up. She's breaking up. That was the one he crashed. That was the crash. Yeah. So there you go. All right.
Look at that Toyota Land Cruiser.
It's with a turret on it. Yeah.
With like a ship turret.
A tank. No, I think it's an old tank turret, like a MBT turret or a
you're probably right.
Car turret. Looks like
So shooting that thing like at a 90-degree angle to the truck
wouldn't be good.
You'd roll that.
Yeah, I was just thinking that you could probably roll it. Yeah, don't be doing that on an incline.
No, this is nuts. Just nuts.
I know. So anyway, all sorts of goodies. All right, so that's from our good friends at ScaleMates. So right, so yeah, all right. So it's going to be a real short show.
It won't be a short show.
Yeah, I know. We got the interviews. I know. And then we got to talk about what's on our bench. So I'm going to let you start, my friend.
All right. Well, I actually haven't been doing much on my bench because I've been working on getting this house ready for the various wedding events that my daughters are setting up for friends. But what I have been doing is recently a local modeler, put his stash on Facebook Marketplace and basically had a garage sale for the last couple of weekends, and it was an extensive collection of models that he put up for sale.
Yeah, it was actually from his. Just if I can interrupt, it was from his uncle who passed away in Kitchener.
Was that what happened?
Yeah, it was an estate sale. Yeah,
I haven't actually had a chance to talk to him yet.
So I had a nice chat with him.
Yeah, and anyway, it's quite a good collection. There's some really interesting kits here. I went through them and I could have easily picked up like 50.
Oh, I know. Between you, me, and I know a few of our other regular members of the club had good days.
Yeah. Oh, I started a conversation with him on Facebook Messenger and just kept having him pile kits over in a corner for me.
Except the ones I stole, but we'll talk about that shortly.
Well, that's just what drove me crazy. like when I first looked at the pictures, there were three that I wanted for sure. One was the Apollo Soyuz mission.
Yeah.
In one, I think it was 1/72 scale.
Yeah.
And it disappeared. It was the Dragon kit.
Right.
And then there's also this, I forget the name of it, but it was a satellite kit. And it looked really nice. Well, guess who got that one? Stuart.
You got to get there early, my buddy.
Man, you pissed me off. And then there was also from Blade Runner, the spinner. Beautiful kit of the spinner. Where did that go? Stuart.
Okay, now in my defense, I did see there was the Revell 1-125 Calypso Oceanographic Explorer. Had it in my hand. It brought back a lot of memories, but I thought, no, I'm not going to build it. Let's hope it goes to a good home, and it did, didn't it?
It did. It showed up in my pile. Indeed.
Now, I also notice here, and I kind of wondered, I knew someone was going to pick up this one, but the XB70 Valkyrie in 1/72nd.
I saw that, and I just about died.
Yeah,
I've been looking at that for years.
I want that to be built. That's got to be a soon build. I'm just saying.
Well, I know, I've read about it. I know it's a bear to build and all that stuff, but like honestly,
that needs to be built. That needs to be built. All right. And what else? And what else did you get? You got some Lindbergh stuff.
I did. I got some old a bunch of old molds. So I got that. Lindbergh came out with that Snark, the surface to air missile.
Yeah, I saw that, and I thought that's got Jeff written all over it.
And it did, and I have that in my pile. But they also had a crazy old. When I was a kid, I loved all the old Werner von Braun 1950s vintage designs for spaceships, and they had a space station. Lindbergh made a space station, which is basically just a donut.
Yep.
And they also had what they called a rendezvous rocket, which is also modeled on von Braun. And they packaged these two together in one kit called the Lindbergh Space Station and Rocket. And so I picked that up. That was kind of fun. And I also wanted, Airfix had a Airfix Space Shuttle 1144. I wanted that. Somebody else got it. So instead I got the Airfix 1144 Saturn S1B, which I've always wanted. That's my favorite Saturn.
I'm kind of, I saw they had an Airfix Vostok Russian rocket. I'm kind of surprised you didn't get that.
Airfix, which one?
It was a Volstoy, the Russian rocket.
Oh, the Vostok. I've already got it.
You already got it? Oh, okay. All right. There you go. I kind of thought you'd get that one. Okay.
That's the oldest boxed kit I have in my stash. I bought it. I bought it for 65p on a family trip to England in 1970.
That's right. Well, this was just a reboxing. It's still the same mold. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you weren't missing anything. And then you were also you were also shopping remotely.
Yes, I was during Wonderfest. Bill Webb, who we've talked about a few times, member of our company, he was down at Wonderfest with a bunch of our Canadian guys, and he volunteered to keep an eye out for anything Thunderbird related. Thunderbird being the Jerry Anderson Thunderbird.
Yeah.
It was a formative influence for me as a kid, and he picked me up a clear Thunderbird 2 with a set of 16 different rescue vehicles to fit inside.
That is going to be so cool when that one's done too. I have to admit, I'm jealous of that one.
That is just going to be really cool. I'm still wrestling over whether I want to do it clear or
Well, interior clear. Yeah, I know it's tough options.
It's an iconic green beast, right?
I know. See, you got some good things.
Now I got to talk to Bill because I realized you mentioned that he won an award at Wonderfest this year. He won it for Thunderbird 2.
His Thunderbird 2. Yeah.
I didn't know he built one, so I'm gonna have to see what he's done.
Yeah, that's the one that his assistants, his puppy assistants, decided to chew up one of the exhaust panels, and he had a very good. He mentioned it at our club meeting. He talked to the customer service for the company, and they were very good. And I think in the end, someone printed some parts and sent it to him.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, and he did a great job. It looks really good on that. Yeah, I think he posted that today. So yeah, so no, I did see, like I say, it's funny how your tastes and my tastes overlap. Like I said, I kind of chuckled at the Calypso one, and it was in my hand for quite a while. There was that one, and there was an Academy A10 that, if it's still around, I might go back for that.
Well, he's posted, he's cleaned up and pictures of all of them.
Yeah, so that's still there. But again, I was bad too, because I've been pretty bad this week as well. And of course, I am not to blame. I blame everyone else.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
It's steals. Anyway, first to start, our good friends at Neo Tokyo and Peter Fay in particular, a couple of months back said, oh, they're able to get Hasegawa again from ordering. So Hasegawa makes a lot of the Macross kits. So I immediately ordered 2 Macross kits, and I'm just going to reach over and find them here.
And they look nice.
Yeah, they came last week, so I picked them up at the store. The VF11B Thunderbolt and the VF21. That'll go along nicely with the one I bought from Peter, which I think what was that? That one was the.
You're wandering away from the microphone.
Sorry, the VF25.
Very nice.
So that one I'd already got a swap meet from Peter. Okay. Also, Neo Tokyo celebrated their 20th anniversary, so they had a buy one get one 20% off, and Neo Tokyo also gives a 10% discount to IPMS London members. So
I'm gonna go back. Go in.
Yeah, I did pick up the Rebel Blockade Runner, the smaller kit. And because I've got a few of the other ones, and the Razor Quest, the non-metallic one. So I ended up getting one of the kits for 30% off, because between the discount and the sale. So that was awesome. And then, I went to the same sale as Jeff was just talking to. Again, very nice guy. His uncle had passed away, and as Jeff had said, quite a few in the collection. And we were both kind of, similar things. I was there fairly early. So I picked up the satellite, the Heya BUSA Muses C. It's designed to land on an asteroid. And again, I love these satellites. I got the Voyager kit, and stuff like that. What else did I get? Hang on. What else did I get? Oh, yes. Jeff already mentioned. I did get the spinner from Blade Runner. That one was a Fujimi kit, and that was like a diamond in the rough. I saw that. I tell you, I practically ran over, and I knocked over 3 old ladies and, whatnot.
Yeah. Fighting for bloodbath.
Yeah, bloodbath, totally. I can see a what if maybe in police markings for a local force in the future there. And then they also have, I make sure I got the name right. And I was joking with Jeff prior to us going on air. At Wonderfest, Heritage Con 2 years ago, not this year, but last year's. I remember looking for a while at a 1/350th Typhoon class submarine. And a certain podcast co-host, which will remain nameless, ended up grabbing it because I went away for a while and I came back. Yeah, so I've been kind of playing around with some of the ships because I have a feeling Musaru Cup may be ships, and I like the subs. So they had, this is from Dragon, I believe, Cyber Hobby, sorry. This is the USS Yorktown. So it's a U.S. cruiser, CG-48, and it also comes with a Russian Alpha sub, both in 350th scale. And again, I mainly bought it for the sub, but it looks pretty good, and it's a good size. I'm just going to show Jeff the size of the top end of the Alpha. So I got those 3 for a great price. So that's 7 kits. So I think I'm done for a while. He says with a wink in his eye, right?
Until the next opportunity presents itself.
Yeah. And then, I did work on stuff. I actually got 2 things done. Maybe this is why I rewarded myself. Not that I don't have anything else in the stash. I got the 148 Bullfighter done. Landing gears on, looks good. I was really pleased. Thanks again to Mike Hill for the Australian decals he provided, and he lent me a book about the strike wings of the bullfighters in the North Sea, which was an excellent read. And then I also finished up the MiG-37, so the Fair. That was the Tester's Artillery What If kit. I did decide in the end to make it an RCAF What If, so it was the CF-200 Muskrat. And I have a backstory. Built by de Havilland. Basically, this backstory is they had a lot of input from a defecting Russian aerospace engineer from the MiG Corporation. And it went up against the Panther, the CF-199 Panther, which was the other Artillery Testers, the F-19 kit, in a competition. So, I had fun with it. Kind of basic decals from the spares box, and it was a lot of fun. So now I got to figure out what the heck am I going to build next, or there's a couple of things on the shelf of shame maybe I should look at. But so been doing that. Been working on a bit more on the unboxing pages on my personal website, blackfire.ca. So yeah, and then 2 weeks off from work. So we did a lot of stuff around here and a few day trips. I thought I was going to have more time to build, but alas, no.
It never works out.
Never works out. So yeah,
it was interesting. I was flipping through the various Facebook groups that I subscribe to, and they're all modeling related, one form or another. And one guy came up with an interesting exercise that sort of generated a fair bit of discussion. It was like, okay, what happens if your personal circumstances change, and for one reason or another, you have to discard your stash, and you can only keep 5. Which of your stash, which 5 would you keep?
Just tell me to kill my children. Why don't you?
I know. Well, that was kind of the tenor of some of the comments. It was like it's easier to find 5 to get rid of. That's for sure. And and then you start thinking, well, would they be the most expensive ones? Would they be the rarest ones?
Yeah, interesting.
It's an interesting exercise, and it's not easy. It's really hard. And my wife said, yeah, get rid of all of them.
Yeah, just a reminder, what if she can only keep 5 balls of yarn in her stash?
No, she doesn't have that.
Oh, that's right. She doesn't have a stash. That's right. I know. She's the exception. Already. Your wife is weird. God bless her, but she's weird.
She's kind of the
anti-knitter.
I'll get it when I need it, sort of thing. No. Fun.
Yeah, I know. You go to the yarn show, and then that day justifies us going to the model show. That's the way it's supposed to work. That's the natural order of things.
Doesn't work that way in my house. Not right now.
I know. All right. Well, I'll have to find that link. I did remember reading it, but maybe that's something we can post on our page, and people can try and think of some ideas.
It's hard.
That would be tough. Yeah, I'm just thinking to myself now. It's like, yeah, obviously it's easier to find stuff to get rid of, but what would you keep? And the other thing is, would that be like stuff in the stash or also stuff you've built?
No, it'd be stuff in the stash.
Stuff in the stash. Okay.
And what was interesting was a lot of the guys were suggesting they were going to keep like a 1/350th Enterprise or a 1 like not the Starship Enterprise, but the Enterprise,
the big carrier. Yeah.
A lot of them were focusing on big ships because those are long projects, right? So
makes sense.
I only have 5, then I'm going to get ones that I can take a lot of time on. And I was thinking, well, do I keep the Felix Stowe, or do I what do I do? So it's an interesting. It's fake, but it's just more of an intellectual exercise about trying to figure out what it is about your stash that turns your crank from time to time.
Interesting. 5 kids. I'm going to write that down. I'll see if I can find the link.
I just thought it was.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It might have been in Grumpy Old Modelers.
I've seen it. I did see it, so I know it's in probably one of the larger groups. But all right, I'll see if I can find it. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about another interesting guy, namely our good friend Sean from Sean's Custom Model Tools. Now we're going to talk a bit about Sean's Custom Model Tools, one of our other sponsors of the Scale Model podcast. Some very cool things, both 3D printed and the Goodman Super Sanding Blocks. Let's start with the Microset and Microsole decal set bottle stand. This is purposely designed for the microscale set and sole. Most modelers over the years, they've tipped these bottles over. So this is a very handy thing. At $14.95, you can put them both together. They're printed in blue and red for easy identification. Comes with a black base, and they actually have little magnets on it, so it keeps them in place. Definitely a good deal. I use mine all the time, and I can well recommend them. Let's talk a bit about those Goodman Model Super Sanding Blocks, namely the Value Pack Combo for $28.99. You get the 80 grit, 180 grit, 220, 320, 400, and 600. Just an amazing set, just what you need. And you can also, if you want, you can also get a super sanding block stand for it, which also really makes life a little bit easier, helps things keep it organized. The other thing too is they have the awesome model tape dispenser for your various tapes. It's basically a 3D printed thing. You put spools of your tapes. It's got a little razor blade to help cut it, and it's Really, really good design. So yeah, works out really well, and yours for $19.95. So check out these and other amazing deals at Sean'sCustomModelTools.com, and also on Facebook, and tell them that the Scale Model Podcast sent you. All right, things we've seen. Big mix here. A bit of a nautical theme, but the first one, I've seen this one in a couple of Facebook groups, and I did see Model Shipwrights had it too. So this is an absolutely outstanding Revell S boat. So this is the 1/72nd scale S boat, like the German equivalent of a PT boat, with the Griffin etch set and CMK figurines. But what I find is amazing, and what people were commenting is the waves. The sea,
it's incredible.
The base that they put. It's just so realistic. When you first look, you swear it's a picture.
Yeah, this is genius.
Yeah, and that's what people were commenting on the build. The build is gorgeous, but particularly the waves. Yeah, and I'm sure I know I've seen a few Facebook groups, and I'm sure he'll write about how he did it and that, but just a gorgeous looking. I've always been fascinated by these two. I don't know where I get around to it. Like I see, you can get a lot of stuff for the Revell PT boats now, the aftermarket and 3D printed, and there's that one, there's the German S boat, and there's the British MTB. So
what's particularly interesting about this is how he did that translucent green water effect in the spray.
Oh, I know, in the wake and everything. Yeah,
it's just amazing.
Yeah, I haven't had time to read up some of the details, but this one I found had a lot of the good pictures, and it wasn't on Facebook. So
yeah,
I thought I'd show that, and absolutely gorgeous. Okay, also keeping with the naval theme, okay, Jeff, I know I did mention a Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier in one 350th. How about a 1/72nd scale USS Nimitz? Because if you have a bunch of U.S. Navy aircraft in 72nd scale and you need somewhere to put it,
yeah, why not? Eh? Look at this. Oh my God.
I know this is a guy in his own. Sometimes you've seen these at club builds, like they'll do the deck or something, but this guy's gone all out. He scratch built it, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. The Tilly crane is from Black Dog. It's scratch built with a mixture of Fujimi, Hasegawa, Tallery for the aircraft. Looks like he's got the good part of a good half of the air group there, and he's got this in his modeling cave.
And look at the size of this room, and it's almost completely full of models.
Yeah, it's on his shelf, and then the carrier takes up a fair amount.
Oh my God!
I know, good for him. Hey, apparently, someone asked him, like, "What does your wife think?" He's got a very understanding wife. She helped plan the room, design the room. So,
you see, that's nice. Kudos to them both.
He gets the official blessing, and this is gorgeous.
Yeah,
if you got the room, this is something you normally, like I say, you'll see clubs do these. They'll do like a basic deck or something, or to display all their kits. And I love it. Wow, I hope your marriage is intact. And he said, at least, and someone else said, at least I would have a Nimitz to live with if I tried this at home. And then he replied, "Thanks, guys. I'm still married to the same woman. Actually, she was the one planned for the extra room in the house. With all the planning, getting on material, took about 9 years, and the planes of the air wing were built whenever I needed a break from shipbuilding."
Wow.
So good. Yeah, on Brit Modeler. Yeah, awesome. Absolutely awesome. Okay, I am mentioning here, this is a Facebook link, but IPMS USA, Rob Booth posted this to the IPMS USA Facebook page. We've talked about this too. People are starting to talk about, since, of course, that editorial came out by the president, the subsequent apology and all that. So Rob Booth posted on the 15th, looking for additional constructive feedback beyond the discussion regarding generational issues, a serious question to this group and others. In addition to the national convention event, what sort of things would you like to see IPMS USA to be able to offer as tangible benefits of membership or activities that would encourage or strengthen your your participation. Specific activities, resources, educational content, more social activity, SIGs, etc. Email to ipmssec@ipmsusa.org if you'd rather not post publicly. And he's asked other people to share it. And so far, when we're recording, there's 221 comments. And again, for the most part, most of them are pretty constructive. There's not much silliness. So there's a lot of good ideas here, and it's worth a read. I think it's definitely, grab a coffee or an alcoholic beverage or whatever, because you're going to spend about an hour, I think, reading through, because there's some really good, well thought out posts. And I think this is something other IPMS chapters, national chapters, might want to look at as well. Definitely worth a read. Definitely worth your time.
I mean, all things considered, that editorial has generated a lot of useful discussion and a fair bit of not so useful discussion, but the useful stuff is worth, keeping an eye on.
And again, that's what I'm pleased about. For the most part, you're not seeing much stupidity. You're getting the odd silly comment, but not a lot of people raging too much. Again, there's criticism. They're saying, I was a member, I'm not, here's why. And that's fair.
Yep,
that's what they want to hear. Like the one comment, the first comment replying, or the one on top, he had a very well thought out couple of paragraphs, and I think it's at the end. At the end of the day, we need an IPMS version of Martin Luther to come along and post their 95 points on the e-board's proverbial door.
Great.
That's awesome too. So definitely make it worth your time to look. And the last one I put in there was the link to the JAS model shop we were talking about. And then I'm also going to find the link for if you can only keep 5 models in your stash, and we'll post something to our group as well, giving credit to the person who originally did it. Okay.
I just think it's a great question, and it got me thinking, and I thought, hey, maybe some other guys might want to get thinking about it.
No, I think that's awesome. I think what we should do is for our 1 year build for the club next year, we'll basically ask this question in like September, because no one from the club listens to our show. We'll ask this question in September. We'll get the results in December, and that's the 1 year build.
There you go. What a great idea.
I'm sure that will work, right? I'm sure that will work. Yeah. All right.
That's a smart idea. Sure.
Yeah. All right. So the last word. You got anything else in closing?
Nah, I got nothing.
Yeah, we got pretty good.
That's where my 5 kits came from.
I know. So the last word. We're also sponsored by our good friends Brett at Return to Kit Form. It's actually his birthday today. I did wish him a happy birthday. This is again on Monday the 26th. So happy birthday, Brett. Check out their web store, return2kitform.com. If you've got a stack of Valkyrie kits like I do, and you need some canopy masks, that's the place to go. Definitely check it out, along with a lot of cool things. I may have a couple already, but I have a feeling that it's at least one I've got to send an order out to him for. They're great because, who likes masking? No one. Pain in the ass when you're doing canopies. Definitely check them out. And again, a happy birthday, belated birthday by the time he hears this. But check them out as well. More modeling podcast goodness. Check out the other modeling podcasts at modelpodcast.com. Please leave a positive review. And of course, check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and our very own website. I do want to remind people we have merchandise now. We have merch. Yes, Jeff.
You do.
Redbubble.com. I put a link in the show notes where you can go and get some cool things. I threw a bunch of different things in. We've got mouse pads, we've got desk mats, t-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers. We got a pin, magnets, glossy stickers, you name it. We probably have it. Good deals. I've tried to keep the prices as low as I can. It's all print on demand. Those of you that know how this works. If you feel like supporting, we get a very tiny, very small cut, but it all helps with the podcast. Check us out. And of course, I have mentioned Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee as well. So make sure you check it out. So I'm afraid unless Jeff has a funny, outro, we may not have one. He's thinking now. See, I got him thinking. So for the Scale Model Podcast, episode 120, my name is Stuart Clark.
And my name is Jeff Hyland, reminding you not to let the Scale Model Podcast end without Terry Measley.
Perfect. Thank you, and be well.